Election excitement in Indian-administered Kashmir, the first parliamentary vote since its special status was revoked. But India's governing party isn't contesting a number of key seats there. Why is the BJP skipping these polls? This is Inside Story. Hello there and welcome to the programme. I'm Laura Kyle. Voters are going to the polls in Indian-administered Kashmir. It's the first parliamentary election since Narendra Modi's government cancelled the region's partial autonomy in 2019. And for the first time in years, people are not boycotting the vote. The Prime Minister says repealing Kashmir's special status has helped integrate it with the rest of the country. He also says it's brought peace and development after decades of separatist violence. Why then has Modi's party not nominated a candidate to contest the 3 seats in the Muslim-majority region? We'll put this question and more to our guests in just a moment. But first, this report by Katia Lopez-Hodiyan.
General elections are highlighting the political tensions in Indian-administered Kashmir. It's been on edge for years. A decades-long uprising against Indian rule has killed tens of thousands of people. This year, for the first time since 1996, the governing BJP, or Bharatiya Janata party, has not fielded a candidate in the Muslim-majority region. Indian-administered Kashmir has traditionally boycotted elections following calls from separatists, but opposition candidate Wahid-ur-Rehman Para wants to change that.
This election will be a turning point, venting out their anger, and there's a huge vacuum of 5-6 years. And this will be an expression. People should vote with their feet, come out and, express themselves.
Some analysts say the BJP didn't nominate a candidate to avoid public defeat and political backlash.
They are skeptical themselves and they are scared of fighting elections directly. Media is restricted, freedom of expression is restricted. Things do not get reported as they used to get. So it is normalcy. It may be normalcy of a graveyard. It is not normalcy of a democratic system.
Until 2019, Indian-administered Kashmir enjoyed a special status with a separate constitution. After it was revoked, Jammu and Kashmir was divided into 2 federally ruled areas and was brought under the direct control of New Delhi.
We will vote with the hope that there is prosperity in Kashmir. Every now and then things get out of hand. We don't want the situation to turn bad or violent.
Despite recent sporadic violence, the BJP points to the relative stability and peace under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There have been signs of economic growth and a decrease in separatist violence. But voters in Indian-administered Kashmir say it's cost them their autonomy. Katia Lopez-Hodiyan, Al Jazeera for Inside Story.
Well, let's bring in our guests now. And from Srinagar, Noor Ahmad Baba is a retired political science professor at the University of Kashmir whose research focuses on Indian-administered Kashmir and South Asian affairs. From Jammu, Sunil Sethi is a spokesman for the governing BJP in Jammu and Kashmir. And in New Delhi, Radha Kumar, an author and academic. In 2010, she was one of 3 government-appointed members of a panel representing the views of Kashmiri society to India's Cabinet Committee on Security. A very warm welcome to all of you. Sunil, first of all, let's ask you why the BJP is not contesting these 3 seats in Kashmir.
See, in order to understand, firstly, we have to understand the problem of Kashmir. 1/3 of Kashmir is under illegal occupation of Pakistan. For last more than 75 years, Pakistan is fighting proxy war with India. They are supporting terrorism, sending terrorism to Indian state for creating the trouble. Bharatiya Janata Party, in its initial avatar, Bharatiya Janasangh, was formed in 1951 with the only motive that there should be one India, there should be no separate constitution, there should be no special status to any state. Okay. We fought for 68 years. After 68 years, we achieved on 5th of August 2019 by removing Article 370 and fully integrating Kashmir with India. Now, these are the elections which are being held after 2019 for the first time for parliament. Bharatiya Janata Party is in no hurry. For us, nation is more important than having few seats from here or there or forming the government. This is a huge battle for unified India, which is being fought in Kashmir. Bharatiya Janata Party has taken a conscious and strategic decision that we will not contest the parliamentary election from 3 parliamentary constituencies in Kashmir, though we have large base of workers in Kashmir running into lakhs. If you look to the workers of Bharatiya Janata Party in these 3 constituencies, they will be running into more than 5 lakh people. We have our workers, registered
Thank you,
workers.
Sunil. Let's just get a reaction to that first of all. If I can turn to Noor Ahmad there, you are in Srinagar. Sunil Sethi, spokesman for the governing BJP there, says that the nation of India is more important at this stage of relations between New Delhi and Indian-administered Kashmir than the BJP winning a few seats, 3 seats that are up for grabs in Kashmir. What do you make of that?
It's very difficult for us to understand here. Here the BJP spokesman giving his own understanding of it. But so far as common person here is concerned, after having invested so much on the changing political scenario in Kashmir, BJP not contesting election directly in Srinagar. They are contesting in Ladakh, they are contesting in Jammu region. So because people will have their own understanding of it. By and large, people think possibly BJP is not confident enough to win elections in Kashmir. Therefore, it has not exposed itself to the voter reaction, voter response in this election.
Sunil, just before we go to Rad, just before we bring in Rad, I just want Sunil to respond to that, because it's a fair point, isn't it, that we have got the BJP contesting in Jammu, in Hindu-dominated Jammu where you are, but not in Muslim-majority Kashmir. Why is that? That is
absolutely a wrong statement, because we are fighting in Kerala also. We are fighting on the seats where we may not be having the very realistic chance of winning. The election is not for winning or losing only. These are the decisions which are taken in the interest of the nation. These are more important for us. Winning seats is not the only criteria. And 2 months or 3 months down the line, there will be an election to the assembly of the Union Territory. Bharatiya Janata Party will be contesting all seats of assembly, including all seats in Kashmir also. We are not afraid of elections. That is not the point my friend was saying was absolutely wrong. This is a strategic decision which was taken in the interest of the nation.
Okay, but I'm sorry, what interests of the nation does this bring?
See, this is a time where there is a fight between the forces which are supporting the separatism, who have been taking the tactical sports from separatist and militant elements. Those are the persons who are contesting our national conference, our PDP mandate. And then there are forces who are taking the nationalistic agenda forward. We want that there should be a conscious effort now from the Kashmir that they should come forward and defeat the forces of separatism for all the times to come.
Okay. Radha, let's bring in you at this point. How much of a surprise was it, first of all, to hear that the BJP was not going to contest this vote? Because we did see them out canvassing, didn't we? The local members of the BJP party were going door-to-door campaigning up until the announcement.
Actually, I didn't expect them to contest because it's fairly clear that they would lose. And they would prefer not to be seen to lose. And I think that if there's any strategic element involved in this decision, then that is the strategic element, that they don't want to be seen to lose all the seats in the Kashmir Valley. The other arguments I fail to see altogether. I don't see how some kind of quiet BJP support for breakaway parties like the Apni party is going to necessarily help or is a strategic decision. If the gentleman is saying that they want to pit one lot of Kashmiris against another lot of Kashmiris, I'm sorry, that is hardly a strategy. And I consider that to be not only foolish, but actually rather ill-founded at the moment, where, ironically enough, we are going to see perhaps one of the higher turnouts ever in the Kashmir Valley in this election. And it's wonderfully ironic because in the rest of India, this has been quite a lackluster election campaign, as almost every analyst has concluded.
Okay.
But in the valley, this is not lackluster at all.
And Noor, Ahmed, perhaps you can fill us in on why Kashmiris are so interested in this particular vote, when in previous votes there have always been calls for boycotts.
Yes, that was completely a different political context. Now, possibly people have not had elected government locally, and even though this election is for national level in India for the forming of national government, but still people are expressing their choice this time because they want to put forth their. Possibly their people are longing for representation in Kashmir. That has not been there. India is a democratic government. Kashmiris have not had any representative institutions, or Jammu and Kashmir does not have it. Well, Ladakh did not have it. This representative representation for last few years. So this time, I think people are enthusiastic to participate and give their expression to their representation and their viewpoint in this elections.
Okay, Sunil, Sethi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited this region in March. That was his first visit since 2019. I put it to you that perhaps that didn't go as well as he expected, and that played in to his decision, or the BJP's decision, not to run in the Kashmir elections.
No, that is absolutely false. When the Honorable Prime Minister visited Kashmir, the stadium where the program was held was jam-packed, and then there were more than 1 lakh persons who were in attendance in different districts of Kashmir, which was joined by video conference. There is absolutely wrong notion that the response was overwhelming, even more than what we could have thought in Kashmir. After 2019, first time Prime Minister visiting in Kashmir, the people were all pumped up. You see what is the ground reality in Kashmir after 2019. Presently, there is no stone pelting. The violence has come down to minimum. The people are living a comfortable life. The tourists are coming in lakhs in Kashmir. Look to the people. Everybody is happy. This election is also being fought on the issue of the development. There is
Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. Let me just bring in Radha on that note. It's a fair point, isn't it, that violence has lessened in Kashmir since 2019?
It's a difficult point to prove either way. If you look at the figures, certainly stone pelting is down to almost zero. But if you look at attempted attacks, then you are not going to see a great decline. And bear in mind that Kashmir again has a much higher security presence than it has had in the 10 years of peace process earlier. So my argument would be that if you want to actually judge violence, you have to also look at whether your need for security presence is lower or not. That is the best test of whether you are moving towards peace. And if you apply that test, then you will see that it was only in the years of 2004 to about 12 that you had a really sharp, significant decline in violence. It then went up when you had the BJP-PDP coalition government in Kashmir, and you had the BJP at the center. Violence actually increased in 2016, 17, 18. And so when we talk about it being lower, quite often the BJP spokespeople are using the figures for the years of 2016, 17 and 18.
Okay, well, let's let Sunil respond to that, because as Radha says, Kashmir is one of the world's most heavily militarised zone. If the level of violence has come down, why does it remain so?
See, when we talk about the decline in terrorism, I don't know from where the figures are being taken by Ms. Radha Kumar. She has to come to Srinagar to see the change in Kashmir. You have to come to Srinagar to see the change in the lives of the people there. When she says that the attacks on security forces are not declined, please look to the figures. It is almost gone. It is minimal now. It is not the same situation, and we are not talking about 2016-17. We are talking about the situations after 1990. There is a sea change in Kashmir now. Kashmir is near normal. Only yesterday, there was a big demonstration in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The people there want to join India. Why are the people there wanting to join India? Because they are fed up with
let's bring in Noor Ahmad to get his view on this particular point. Noor Ahmad, Radha says that the figures of levels of violence are coming from the Home Ministry. What is the security threat there in Kashmir today?
I say there have been incidences of militant violence continued, even though in a smaller number. But the question is slightly larger. If things were so normal everywhere, the restoration of statehood in Jammu and Kashmir should have happened. There are people all across the region that aspire for a statehood for the region. They would have wanted to have government elections in local assembly. That has also not happened. And last, I say, BJP Article 370 happened. The claim has been that it is not fully integrated. If it is fully integrated and it is to the advantage of the common man, then I think this was the right time BJP to bounce that people have been emotionally attached to it and emotionally happy with the changes, and they should have come forward because they were instrumental in the changes, in bringing peace, what they come to be in bringing complete peace. Peace, of course, is to be qualified. What type of peace is it?
Radha, we want to talk about these regional elections because Sunil brought it up earlier. He said that within 2 to 3 months there would be regional elections, assembly elections in Jammu Kashmir. Modi has promised to restore statehood. Yet these elections have been delayed several times before. Do you believe the BJP when they say they will allow regional elections within the next few months?
Well, let me put it this way. This has been ordered by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of India has said that elections have to be held before the end of September. Oh, and by the way, in the Supreme Court, the Solicitor General of India argued on behalf of, obviously, the union as well as the state administration that the security situation was such that they could not restore statehood. So, on the one hand, in the Supreme Court, they're arguing security is bad. On the other hand, in the public domain, they're arguing that they have achieved a great deal. One is, tempted to say, please make up your mind and please release the proper figures to show one way or another. Because if you have misled the Supreme Court was extremely clear in saying that they are only accepting the union administration's argument of a delay of statehood on grounds of security. That was the only ground that they were accepting it on. And they have said that they hope, therefore, that as soon as the elections are held, the state assembly elections, which have to be before the end of September, they are hoping that statehood will be restored very soon after. Now, your question, will the BJP follow through on what the court has directed them to do? I can only hope that they will. It would be quite appalling to defy an order of the Supreme Court. So one hopes that they won't find other ways around, but we don't know what will happen until the new parliament is in place.
OK,
You know,
and
it's
we'll pick that
perfectly
up probably
possible
in
for them
another
to come out
inside
with another
story down the line. Sunil, Sethi, I want to bring our viewers back to the vote that's going to be taking place over the next few days. How free and fair is this vote going to be there in the region? Because we've seen restrictions on media, on freedom of expression. Al Jazeera actually has not been granted visas to cover the election within the country. So can people trust that this vote is going to be free and fair?
There is 100% guarantee that the elections will be fair and fair elections. There is no restrictions on the media. Media is reporting each day. The media is reporting against the government. We are not stopping them. Anybody can come and see. I don't think there is any allegation or even complaint from anybody, much less from Srinagar, that the elections will not be fair. If BJP would have been contesting, you would have been saying this thing to me that this election is unfair because BJP wants to win Kashmir by other means. We are not in the fray, but we will ensure that the elections will be held free and fair, number one. Number two, assembly elections. The Supreme Court said that the elections will be held by September end. We stand by it that the elections will be held in the assembly by September end, and there will be a government of Jammu and Kashmir, of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, which will be duly elected. The question of returning the union territory to the state as it was before 2019 is also a commitment which has been made by the central government on the floor of the parliament and to the Supreme Court of India also. Situations, normalcy and situation turning around peace are two different things. There will be elections of assembly of union territory. There is no doubt about that. After the union territory elections, when the government will be formed in the union territory, then the decision will be taken for formation of the state from the union territory. I don't think there will be undue delay in that also.
OK. Noor Ahmed, first of all, are there any complaints from within the region in the way the elections have been carried out in the run-up to them and the way they are set to be carried out in the next few days?
No, I think elections would be fairer this time. And political parties are participating. Even though BJP is not participating in the elections, other parties, almost all regional parties are participating in elections. I don't think there has been complaint on their part. So far as we'll have to wait and watch. And actual election, I think elections this time people are going to participate in larger numbers compared to the past. And hopefully they are going to be free and fair elections.
OK. Rad, let's pick up on Sunil's other point, which is that Jammu Kashmir, the region will be restored its statehood to the situation before 2019. It raises the question why the government repealed Article 370, which gave significant autonomy to the Indian-administered Kashmir region, why it repealed it in the first place.
Yeah, I don't think that any arguments that are given on the basis of the situation in Kashmir don't hold water at all. The truth is simply that the BJP and their precursors before them, the Janata, and before that the Hindu Sabha, and so on, all opposed Article 370. So it's been a long-standing BJP demand that it should be rolled back. And when the Modi administration had its second term with a very large majority, they felt that they could roll it back. It's as simple as that. Now, the way that they did it, we are all aware of what they did. They imposed a lockdown on the state. They arrested more than 5,000 political leaders. They had curfew. They had the longest internet shutdown in history. All of this, we know that these were the methods that were used to roll back Article 370.
Sunil, what does Modi do about Kashmir?
See, we want complete peace in Kashmir. We want the people of Kashmir to live freely. and there should be no terror, there should be no separatism. The reason why the decision was taken in 2019 was also for this reason for creating the feeling of separatism in Kashmir. After 2019, there is a complete integration of Jammu and Kashmir with India. I don't think that stage is going to turn back.
Right.
There is no party today in Kashmir which is talking about Article 370. All these people.
Okay, we're having a bit of trouble with your line there. Let's just bring in Noor Ahmad to pick up on that point. Is anyone talking about 370? I mean, Sunil's right, isn't it? It's not been part of any election campaign. What do Kashmiris want for their future?
People may not be talking too much of Article 370, except about the process through which it was done, where there was no local participation and local consent of a locally elected government. But there are all across the three regions now, which are part of the erstwhile Jammu and Kashmir state, Jammu, Ladakh and Kashmir. There is aspiration for security on land and security of jobs. And that much, the people have already expressed. We had a Ladakh agitation recently, and there I have had reporters from Jammu where people would want this kind of restriction. There was occasional resentment in Jammu also. In Kashmir also, people are very sensitive on identity preservation. There has to be, I think local governments are going to take up this issue as and when the government is formed. And even in the present elections, the parties that are contesting from the region, several of them are talking of these security.
Okay. We will have to leave our discussion today. It'll be very interesting to see the outcome of this vote, and I'm sure we'll be revisiting this very interesting issue in the future here on Inside Story. Many thanks to our guests today, Noor Ahmad Baba, Sunil Sethi and Radha Kumar. And thank you too for watching. You can see the programme again anytime by visiting our website, that's aljazeera.com. And for further discussion, do go to our Facebook page, that's facebook.com/AJ Inside Story. You can also join the conversation on X. Our handle is @AJ Inside Story. From me, Laura Kyle, and the whole team here, it's bye for now.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.